The United States of America has been poetically referred to as the land of the free for centuries upon centuries. With this freedom comes a vast amount of controversy on issues that pit millions of people against one another on a basis of personal opinion. The world we live in today is changing, and many things that have been considered taboo or that have been pushed under the rug altogether in recent decades have recently become more socially acceptable. One issue that has been under a magnifying glass in recent years has been the controversial topic of gay and lesbian adoption rights. It is estimated that 1 out of every 10 people is gay. That being said, it is highly probable that everyone in this room knows someone who is gay. Whether it be a gay uncle or a gay best friend, we are all able to relate to the issue at hand by putting ourselves in the shoes of these people. I myself identify as gay and would like to show how we are people too and deserve the same rights and respect that a heterosexual couple would. I have done extensive research on this topic for this and for past courses. There is no reason, medically, psychologically, emotionally, or physically speaking, that a same-sex couple be denied adoption rights that a heterosexual couple have been granted. The issue ultimately boils down to an issue of both acceptance and prejudice in its ugly nature. There are many children in the foster care system waiting to be adopted. A same-sex couple can provide for these children in the same ways that a heterosexual couple can, and the arguments against same-sex adoption rights can be easily disputed. We will now examine the many reasons why same-sex couples should be awarded equal adoption rights. In the United States, there are currently more children waiting to be adopted than there are suitable parents willing. In the past, same-sex couples seeking adoption have had to be somewhat secretive in their ways. Same-sex couples are more likely to adopt children that are harder to place, such as children with disabilities, older children, or children who have suffered some kind of abuse. The United States has more children waiting to be adopted than there are currently placed in the foster care system than there are suitable parents willing to adopt them. According to Allies for Adoption, there are currently 402,000 children in foster care. Of these children, 102,000 are available for adoption, yet only 50,000 children find permanent homes each year. In the past few decades, gay and lesbian couples have had to be somewhat secretive in terms of adoption due to the prejudice and narrow-mindedness that surrounds the subject of homosexuality. This usually consisted of a single-parent adoption, where the second parent hosted no legal rights to the child in question. This was an issue as the child was unable to reap any of the benefits in regards to health insurance or Social Security of the second parent. In the unfortunate event of the death of an adoptive parent, the second parent has no legal right to take custody of the child. Because of these concerns, many same-sex couples have pushed for the same rights that are granted to heterosexual couples. Denying same-sex couples the right to adopt denies thousands of children of loving homes that they rightfully deserve. The National Survey of Family Growth, a study that gathers information on family life, marriage and divorce, and on men and women's health, that was recently conducted by the CDC, found that there is an estimated 2 million lesbian, bisexual, and gay people interested in adoption. Same-sex couples seeking adoption will often be placed with the children that no one seems to want to adopt, such as older children, abused children, and those with special needs. Same-sex couples have unique strengths that help these troubled children. Same-sex couples are more prone to adopt children with special needs because they are more able to overcome and accept differences. These couples are able to understand what it is like to be a minority and have the skills to be open about sexuality with children who have recently been sexually abused. Isn't it ironic how adoption agencies and similar bureaucracies that believe gay men and lesbian women are not suitable parents will often force on them the children that require the most highly skilled parenting? There are more children waiting to be adopted than there are suitable parents seeking adoption as a means to complete their family. Opening up the door to same-sex parents will lessen this gap. Same-sex parents seeking adoption have faced an enormous amount of prejudice. Despite this treatment, same-sex couples are more willing to adopt children that are harder to place, such as those with disabilities, children with special needs, and those that have been abused. Now that we have covered the need to support adoption rights for same-sex couples, it is time to examine what those opposed to this believe and why we should not side with them. Opponents of same-sex adoption believe that it should not be allowed because a child should have both a masculine and a feminine role in their lives by way of a nuclear family. Given the divorce rate in this country, many children are being raised in non-nuclear families, often by way of a single-parent household. Studies have shown that there is no proof that children raised in same-sex households fare any differently than their peers being raised by opposite-sex couples. The main arguments for those that blatantly oppose same-sex adoption argue that their intent is with the best interest of the children. Those that oppose same-sex adoption believe that the traditional nuclear family consisting of a mother, a father, and their biological children is an ideal that should be clung to. The fact of the matter is that the divorce rate in the United States has risen rapidly over the last few years and is now over an astonishing 50%. This often leaves the children of divorce in the primary care of just one of their biological parents. You cannot advocate for nuclear families as a guideline for adoption with a divorce rate that elevated. Psychologist James Dobson, the founder of Focus on Family, an American evangelical Christian organization, states, "Love alone is not enough to guarantee a healthy growth and development. The two most loving moms in the world cannot provide for a daddy for a little boy any more than the two most loving men can be a complete role model for a little girl. If the argument is that a female child must have a feminine influence and a male child a masculine role model, why is it that a single father raising his daughter or a single mother raising a son not subject to the same scrutiny?" There is no plausible evidence to support the notion that same-sex couples are unfit parents that should not be awarded equal adoption rights. Good parenting is not influenced by sexual orientation in the slightest, but rather by the ability for parents to create a loving and nurturing home. The children of same-sex couples grow up just as successfully as those children with heterosexual parents. The American Psychological Association policy statement on sexual orientation, parents, and children profoundly states, "There is no reliable evidence that homosexual orientation per se impairs psychological functioning. In fact, not a single study has shown that a child of a same-sex couple is less intelligent, suffers more problems, or has lower self-esteem than a child of a heterosexual couple. These children have shown that they grow up to be just as happy, healthy, and well-adjusted as any child that has both a male and a female parent. In fact, studies suggest that children raised by same-sex parents will actually turn into better, more well-rounded adults because they are able to understand and overcome prejudices from a young age and are more likely to be open-minded and accepting of others different from themselves." Due to the high divorce rate and the rise of single parents, from the argument that same-sex couples should not be allowed to adopt children on the basis that the child will be lacking a masculine or a feminine presence is null and void. There has been no evidence to date to suggest that same-sex parents are incapable of raising a child. In fact, children raised by same-sex parents often grow into better, well-rounded individuals. There is a great need for more adoptive parents in the United States. Same-sex couples have been found to be just as suitable of parents as their heterosexual counterparts. The arguments against same-sex adoption rights have been proven to be invalid. The issue of same-sex couples seeking adoption is something that may never have a definite end result. With no statistical evidence to support any of the claims made by those that oppose same-sex adoption, I find it irresponsible as a part of humanity to think otherwise. This is a topic truly based on an issue of acceptance versus prejudice. The narrow-mindedness of society is slowly changing, and I can only hope that we will one day be free of all intolerance. Same-sex couples adopt children for the same reasons that straight couples do: to provide for, raise, and love another human being. At the end of the day, all prejudices aside, isn't that all that really matters?